In Lagos, David was respected everywhere he went. People called him chairman. His construction company handled massive contracts across the city. Money flowed like water. Family members bragged about being connected to him. At family gatherings, everybody waited for David to arrive before food was served. He paid school fees, paid hospital bills, solved everybody's problems. And because of his generosity, nobody ever imagined a day could come when David would need help himself. David loved his wife Clara deeply. Anything she wanted, she got. Luxury bags, expensive wigs, vacations, jewelry. Clara lived the life many women dreamed about. On social media, she constantly posted videos showing off their wealth. People admired their marriage. But behind the expensive smiles, Clara loved comfort more than loyalty, and David never noticed. David's younger brother Kelvin had no stable job. His sister Anita constantly demanded money. Even his mother expected David to solve every financial issue in the family, and he did, without complaints. Whenever they needed help, David showed up immediately. But over time, they stopped appreciating him. They started feeling entitled to his money. Then came the night that destroyed everything. At exactly 1:17 a.m., David's phone rang repeatedly. His company headquarters was on fire. By the time he arrived, flames had already swallowed the building. Employees stood outside crying helplessly. Firefighters struggled to control the destruction. Years of sacrifice disappeared in one night. David stood there, frozen, watching his empire burn. The insurance company delayed payment. Business partners disappeared. Banks started demanding repayment. David sold cars, sold properties, laid off workers. Slowly, the rich man everybody respected became a struggling man people avoided. Calls stopped coming. Invitations disappeared, and the family that once praised him suddenly became cold. One evening during dinner, Kelvin mocked David openly. Brother, how can a whole company just burn like that? Didn't you plan your life? Anita laughed. Even their mother shook her head in disappointment. David felt pain in his chest. These were the same people who once treated him like a king. Now they spoke to him like a failure. Clara stopped respecting David completely. She no longer cooked for him, no longer cared about his stress. Whenever he tried discussing their problems, she insulted him. You were useful when you had money. Those words shattered David's heart. But worse was coming. Soon, Clara stopped hiding the men around her. Different cars picked her up daily. She stayed out overnight, and when David confronted her, she said something he would never forget. I cannot suffer because of love. I need a man who can provide. David realized the marriage had died long ago. One morning, Clara packed all her designer clothes and expensive jewelry. Without emotion, she walked out of the house. David begged her to stay, but Clara looked at him coldly. Love does not pay bills. Then she left. The silence inside the house became unbearable. David reached out to old friends for help. Men he once helped build businesses. Men who once called him brother. But suddenly, everybody became busy. Some ignored his calls. Others promised to call back and never did. That was when David realized money attracts people, but hardship reveals them. While David struggled to survive, Clara was busy enjoying another man's money. Luxury restaurants, vacation trips, expensive gifts. She mocked poverty as if she had never once suffered beside David. David became depressed. Some nights he sat in darkness for hours. No calls, no support, no hope. Then one afternoon, somebody knocked on his door. Sophia, his longtime female friend, the woman who never abandoned him. Sophia listened to David for hours. No judgment, no insults, no mockery. She reminded him who he used to be, and for the first time in months, David felt hope again. Sophia believed in David so much that she risked everything for him. She borrowed money, added her savings, and gave David enough capital to restart business on a smaller scale. David was shocked. Nobody had shown him that level of loyalty before. Clara disappeared when the money disappeared. His family abandoned him when life became difficult, but Sophia stayed. Every day after work, she visited David's small office with food and encouragement. Sometimes she found him sleeping on the desk from exhaustion. Sometimes she found him frustrated and ready to give up, but Sophia never stopped believing in him. While others remembered the rich man David used to be, Sophia believed in the broken man he had become. She reminded him that failure was not the end. She encouraged him to keep pushing, and slowly David started finding strength again. In the middle of pain, rejection, and loneliness, Sophia became his peace. The woman who came with food eventually became the woman who rebuilt his hope. David worked day and night. Failure changed him. He became wiser, stronger, more disciplined. Slowly, contracts started coming again. The small business grew bigger and bigger until David became richer than he had ever been before. The day David bought another car, he sat inside silently for several minutes. Not because of the car, but because he remembered the man he used to be and the pain it took to rise again. What started as friendship slowly became something deeper. Not because of money, not because of status, but because real love grew naturally through loyalty and sacrifice. As David slowly rebuilt himself, Clara's new relationship started falling apart. The wealthy men she followed became controlling and disrespectful. For the first time, she remembered how peacefully David once treated her. The moment David became successful again, his family returned. Kelvin apologized. Anita cried. Even his mother begged him for forgiveness. Then Clara appeared again. The same woman who once abandoned him now claimed she still loved him. But David had changed. David looked at Sophia, the woman who stayed when everybody left, the woman who believed in him when he had nothing, and he made his choice. He forgave the pain, but he refused to return to the people who abandoned him. Months later, David married Sophia quietly. Then together, they relocated abroad to start a peaceful new life. For the first time in years, David was truly happy. Thank you for watching this story to the end. Do you think David should have allowed them back into his life? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share.